Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with the 10th standard chemistry and physics, unit 10 electromagnetism. Series number 14 is going to be discussed. In the earlier session, we discussed about what is Faraday's law and what kind of parameters which are going to derive that equation in the Faraday's law, and Lenz principle is also discussed, right? So here, in addition to all these, what is electromagnetism and what kind of parameters show the impact on this electromagnetism? Activity-based education have been completed in the earlier sessions. In addition to all this, Unit 1 to Unit 9, entire explanation available on the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry with a reference to this 10th standard chemistry and physics. Let us enter into our series number 14 of this electromagnetism, Unit 10. Now, we are going to discuss about Lenz's law in detail and what kind of deviation observed in the Faraday's law, right? So, when we push a bar magnet towards the coil, current is generated. Already we know that. So, one kind of loop system was taken that is connected with the galvanic cell. Our galvanometer was taken, and by inducing external magnetic field, what happens? So, within the loop, electrical current is induced, that is called the induced electromagnetism, right? So when we push bar magnet towards the coil, so we are nearing with the external magnetic field, then what happens? Current will be generated, right? So in other words, electromagnetic induction takes place and the mechanical energy get converted into electrical energy. During this external magnetic field, when it is nearing to the closed loop system, what happens? Mechanical energy in turn turned into electrical energy. This is the main phenomenon which get carried in the electrical generator, where at the expense of mechanical energy, electrical energy got generated that can be used in the industrial purpose, household purpose, and also even automobiles. We are using these generators. Let us discuss in detail about this conversion of mechanical energy into electrical energy with the scientific perception of Lenz's law. We know that when a bar magnet pushed towards the coil, with its north pole facing the coil, induced current set up the coil, right? We are taking the north pole and that is nearing to the closed loop system, which in turn connected with the galvanic device, galvanic cell device, right? So galvanometer was attached here in order to measure the potential difference here. Let the direction of current in the coil is in clockwise manner. So here induced current is propagating in the clockwise manner, and with respect to the north pole of bar magnet. So here this is moving in the clockwise with respect to north pole because we are inclining bar magnet. North pole is towards this closed loop, so that here clockwise rotation of this induced electrical field is possible within this closed circuit. Then this current carrying loop behaves like a magnet. So whenever external magnet is nearing this one, what happens? Due to the generation of electrical field, already we know that whenever electric field is there, obviously that used to surrounded with the magnetic field, both are perpendicular and both are simultaneous phenomenon, that is called electromagnetism. That's the reason why here, due to that induced current in turn generates the magnetic field around that one, and this closed loop now working like a magnet, that is the induced magnet, which is the south pole. So we can assume that the pole which inclined toward the external magnet can be regarded as the south pole, because whenever north pole will be in the close proximity, always repulsive forces will be operated. So that here, in order to minimize such a condition, south pole of this closed loop which induced within the system and the north pole of external magnet are inclined in such a way so that here bar magnet will be inclined towards the coil, and kinetic energy will be gained. Kinetic energy sense what? Any object which is under moving condition can be associated with the kinetic energy. So here energy which assigned due to the motion of any object is denoted as a kinetic energy, because of that movement of external magnet towards the closed loop. That closed loop now working like a induced magnet. Because of that motion, there is a origination of kinetic energy within the external magnetic field. This is a contradictory for a conservation of energy. So our assumed clockwise direction of induced current is wrong. So here, if current is moving in the clockwise direction, that cannot be easily explained by the concept what we discussed now. Hence, the current direction induced current is an anti-clockwise motion. So whenever south pole and north pole both are in the close proximity and the kinetic energy is originated in the external magnet, so that here what happens, it used to change its direction, and there is a possibility of anti-clockwise movement in this induced magnetic field. And with respect to north pole of the bar magnet, obviously north pole is nearing to this closed loop system. Whenever north pole will be there, what happens, there will be a forces of repulsions, and motion will be changed into anti-clockwise manner. In such a case, north pole of coil faces the north pole of the bar magnet as shown in the figure. So here it is clearly depicted that external magnet is nearing to the closed loop system where the induced magnetic field is there, and here north pole inclined. If towards the north pole, what could be the consequence? That there will be a repulsive forces, because always whenever like poles are nearing, there will be a repulsive forces will be operated, so that here both are repelling to each other, and both are distancing with respect to each other. Hence, we need to do the work to overcome such forces. In order to overcome such repulsive forces, external work should be done on the system. The work done and the magnet is converted into electrical energy in the coil. Whatever force operating in order to avoid the repulsive forces, that in turn converted into electrical energy, that is denoted as a mechanical energy. The energy which is generated between the north pole and north pole in order to minimize the repulsive forces which is operating from the external source, denoted as a work, that is called a mechanical energy, in turn converted into a electrical energy, that is the opposing force in order to minimize the repulsions. In this way, conservation of energy takes place in the electromagnetic induction. So if this external magnet is not there, there is no induction of current within the system. Closed loop may not generate any kind of electrical energy within the system, and magnetic field is also not induced. But whenever we are introducing the external magnet and nearing with respect to internal external, both are having like kind of poles, north and inclined towards the north pole of external magnet, repulsive forces will be operated. In order to minimize the repulsions, we are applying the external work, in turn regarded as a mechanical energy, that can convert it into electrical energy, so that here electrical generator will work based on this principle, right? So in this manner, we are going to work on this conservation of energy. As already we know that energy neither be created nor be destroyed, and can be transformed into one form to another. Let's see the case where the bar magnet is pulled away from the coil. So what we are doing, we are moving in the opposite direction, we are pulling out with the north pole facing the coil. In such a case, coil opposes the motion of bar magnet to balance the conservation of mechanical energy into electrical energy. Now, because being we are operating with the external work, and there is a balance between mechanical and electrical energy, what happens, that motion can be stopped. So there is a retardation in order to move away from the induced magnetic field by this external bar magnet. This happens only when the north pole of magnet faces the south pole of the coil, because always north-south poles having inclination, and distance cannot be tolerated by such conditions, and north-south pole inclination is possible, and there could be a perfect balance in order to conserve the energy between mechanical and electrical energy. This is a natural phenomenon whenever north and south poles are present in the closer proximity. Now, we have a question here. The question is posed like this: can you guess that could be the direction of induced current in the coil in such a case? What could be the direction of induced current? In what way it is moving, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise? We have to notice that the direction of induced current in the coil must be in the anti-clockwise rotation. So this may be regarded as the counterclockwise, and I collected this answer from Doubtnet. Thank you very much for your valuable information, right? So whenever such a kind of opposite poles are operating in between, and the induced electrical current in turn generates an induced magnetic field as well. And in that condition, induced magnetic field is propagating in counterclockwise rotation. This will be the right answer for the question posed here. Invariably, direction of induced current in the coil must be anti-clockwise rotation. Simple terms, when flux increases through the coil, Coil opposes the increase in the flux. When flux decreases through the coil, it opposes the decreasing the flux. This discovered by the Russian physicist called Heinrich Lenz, right? So whenever electrical flux is induced within the system, in order to oppose that one, external magnetic field will be operated till that flux effect get minimized. This opposing force effect got discovered by the Russian physicist called Heinrich Lenz. Okay, so opposing forces are operated in turn, that opposing force in turn converted into electrical energy. That is nothing but a work done upon the system. Now it is very clear that whenever north pole both are in the inclination in the closer proximity, and here direction of work in this manner. So when north south pole are present, and that can be regarded as a counterclockwise rotation of induced magnetic field. We are taking solenoid type of system connected with the galvanic cell, and here north pole is one condition of inclination, north pole with south pole in the closer proximity in either condition of inclination. During this north repulsive forces get operated, and here the motion of induced electrical current in the clockwise, whereas north south poles are in the closer proximity, counterclockwise rotation will be operated. This is given by the scientist called Lenz. And Lenz law gives that the induced current will appear in such a direction that opposes the change in the flux in the coil. If flux is operated in the clockwise manner, in order to oppose that one, counterclockwise motion will be induced for the current. If flux is in anti-clockwise, in order to counter that one, clockwise motion is acquired by this induced current. That's the reason we always there will be opposite direction with respect to flux and induced current. That is the interrelation between, that means a reciprocal relation between the induced current and the flux generated within the system of closed circuit. Now we have a few questions here. Could you get Faraday's law of induction from conservation of energy? So what is the relation between Faraday's law and the conservation of energy? How both are interrelated? I collected the relevant answer for this question from the platform called Doubtnet. Thank you very much for your valuable information. Law of conservation of energy says that energy neither be created nor be destroyed, but can be converted into one form to another. For example, if we are taking solar energy, can be converted into mechanical energy, electrical energy, chemical energy, any kind of biological energy as well. So many kind of transformations are possible. So because energy neither be created nor be destroyed, but we can convert one form into any other. That is called a law of conservation. And the Faraday's law gives that a continuous change in the magnetic flux with the closed coil, current is generated within the coil. So here during the flux generation, because closed loop is induced with electrical current when the external magnetic field is nearing, so that here flux variation is used to induce the magnetic field and the electrical current as well within the closed container. That is given by the scientist called Faraday. That interrelation was given by Faraday. So here that magnetic flux variation in turn generates the induced electrical current within the system. We have to do some work to move the magnet through the coil. So in order to move the magnet, what is required? So any object can be displaced by the expense of some external work. In the similar manner, here also, in order to move the coil with the purpose of a magnetic field, we have to do the external work upon that. So external work, whatever we are expensing on that, can be transformed into energy right here. The energy is converted into electrical energy in the coil. So that energy which is generated by the work from the external source is regarded as a mechanical force, and in turn converted into electrical energy in that coil, so that here current generation is possible. In this way, conservation of energy takes place in the electromagnetic induction. Because of inducing, we are inducing electrical and magnetic vectors as well. Both are working in the opposite direction. Whenever magnetic field is clockwise, electrical field is in counterclockwise. Magnetic flux is in anti-clockwise, electrical field will be in a clockwise manner. That reciprocal manner relation will be there in between. But these two will be simultaneously induced within the system whenever external magnetic field is there at and obeying this conservation of energy as well. So that here there is an interrelation between conservation of energy with a reference to Faraday's law. Now, we are going with the deviation from Faraday's law, some kind of fluctuations also we can notice under some circumstances. Let us focus on the deviation of Faraday's law, that is denoted as a contradiction. Let us arrange the apparatus as shown in the figure, what we are taking here. So here two bar magnets were inclined in such a manner. North pole of one bar magnet is inclined with the south pole of another one. And here flow of induced current is possible in this manner because here two parallel conductors are there. Let us assume these are the copper wiring. And electrical flux is originated in between these two parallel lines, and in between north and south pole the distance is measured as a D. And the galvanometer is connected with the two parallel conducting wires in order to measure the potential difference. And these two are cross connected with the cross wires as well, right? So cross connection is also available here. So this is a kind of system in order to find out how the deviation from the Faraday's law is possible and what kind of conditions are reason for such a kind of deviation. Let us discuss. It consists of a pair of parallel bar magnets. So two bar magnets were taken here, and in between we have the space called length L meters, right? So in between these two bar magnets, L length meters are that distance is there in between, and that used to induce the uniform magnetic field, because we are not supposed to change the distance between these two. When the length between these two are fixed as a constant without any variation, so constant flux density is originated in between. When we hold another bar conductor in such a way that in contact with the two parallel wires, so here another two parallel wires, let us say copper wiring was taken, and these two copper wiring is are inducing another external magnetic field as well, and both are inclined in the parallel manner as shown in this figure 16, right? A galvanometer is connected to the ends of parallel conductor in order to complete the electrical circuit, right? So here these two terminals of parallel conducting wires get connected with the galvanometer in order to measure the potential difference, and the circuit get completed here. Now, if the cross wire placed across the parallel conductor is moved to the left, galvanometer needle will deflect in one direction. So here cross connecting wires are present, and what we are doing, all cross connecting wires are moving towards one direction. So all are moving towards the left hand side only. All are inclined towards left hand side only. In that case, you can notice there is a oscillation of this galvanometer needle only in the one direction, because all are inclined towards the left hand side, so that here the needle is moving to one side only. There is no oscillation. And this cross wire is moving in the right hand side, needle reflects in the opposite direction when compared to the previous one, right? So based on these cross connecting wires here, needle direction will be changed. If they are in left hand side, needle is moving in one direction. If all cross connecting wires are lifted and shifted to another direction, say right hand side, so that here needle position will be inversed. Suppose that clockwise moved left to distance S meters. When all the cross connected wires are connected with the left side, so that here distance traveled by this needle of the galvanometer will be S meters, for example, during the time period of delta t. Delta t is nothing but change in the time. That may be 1 minute, 1 hour. That depends upon the time of observation under which you are doing this experiment. Then reading of galvanometer gives us amount of current that flows in the circuit. So here, whenever all these are connected and shifted towards the left hand side, you can notice how extent the current is flowing through this closed circuit, through the conducting wires which are inclined in the parallel manner. A current will be set up in the circuit only when there is an EMF in the circuit. Latest EMF will be denoted with the epsilon E, right? So here already we know that wherever induced current is there, obviously there is an origination of the potential difference. Potential difference is mainly due to change in the electron density in both the terminals, so that here potential difference is also originated. That is mentioned with the symbol epsilon. The principle of conservation of energy tells us the electrical energy associated with the flow of current must come from the work that have been done moving the cross wire. So in order to move the cross wire from one direction to any other, how extent work we are expending. So that work now in turn converted into the electrical energy. As already we know that here these two bar magnets are in the equidistance, and that length between two will be fixed, and the flux variation will be fixed again, because we are not going to change the distance between, only we are changing the direction of the cross wires in between two bar magnets. Likewise, the work extended on this bar magnet in turn turned into your electrical energy. If we ignore the friction everywhere, because whenever any two rubbing surfaces are present, there is opposing force with respect to each other, that is denoted as a friction. So that friction cannot be taken into the consideration, because of friction some amount of energy get wasted, right? That may not be taken into the consideration. Almost it will be a negligible parameter. In arrangement, the work done by this applied force is given by F. EMF is denoted with epsilon, and the force we are applying, the work we are doing on this, can be denoted with F. It is evident that there is a current I, amperes, flowing through the length of L meters of the cross wire, and the cross wire is in the magnetic field with this information. So here it is already known that the length between two bar magnets taken as L. So that is measured in meters, and cross wires are experiencing the magnetic field, being it is associated with the two bar magnets in the closer proximity, so that we can derive the expression in order to give the force is equal to BIL. B denotes what? The flux density which get induced in between two bar magnets. I is the strength of the current which flowing through these conducting wires, and L is the distance between the two bar magnets, which are taken as a constant parameter here. So this is a kind of relation between the force operated, nothing but work, which expended on this magnetic system, and B is the variation in the flux density, I is the strength of the current, L will be the distance between the two bar magnets. This will be the equation in order to relate this force with remaining all parameters. This force must be opposed the applied force. So whenever internal force is there, external force is there. The force originated within the system can always having tendency to oppose the external force as well. The direction of applied force determines the direction of current through the cross wire. So in what way we are applying the external force? In the same way here, cross current generated in the cross wire is also present. So if applied force in clockwise rotation, induced current is also in a clockwise rotation. Here we are doing positive work in the sense that work in turn converted into electrical energy without any waste of that one. Almost friction generated in between two bar magnets can be ignored, because we are not in that extent of closer proximity. We are not getting rubbing surfaces, so that friction conditions can be infinitesimal, can be discarded here. The work done by the moving cross wire converts the electrical energy. So here already we know that. So Lenz's formula says that whenever the extent of work operated on the system in order to avoid the repulsive forces, that in turn converted into electrical energy. Here also the force operated also denoted as work done on the system can be converted into electrical energy, so that there is a relation. Work in turn exactly equated with the force operated here, that is equal to flux density B, strength of the current I in amperes, L is the length in meters. So this will be the equation. W is equal to F is equal to BIL. So this is a somewhat extended formula for this deviation for the Faraday's law. When we put the cross wire across the parallel conductor, it makes the complete electrical circuit which encloses a certain amount of magnetic flux. So when both the bar magnets are connected with the crossing wire, so that here what happens, that used to connect both the bar magnets, so that circuit will be completed. So magnetic flux is induced in between these two, that is denoted with B prime. Now, as we move the cross wire to the left, the area of the loop formed by the parallel conductors and the cross wire decreases, and flux through the loop also decreases whenever. So here move from the cross wire the left, the area of loop by the parallel conductors and the cross wire get decreased. So here area when decreases, the extent of flux density also decreases. In between, the area is nothing but in between, the space between two bar magnets. If we are concising, obviously there is a decrease in the flux density as well. Okay, so decrease in the flux density is given by the formula delta pi is equal to BLS. Pi denotes what? Variation in the flux density. B is the flux density which induced in between these two bar magnets, and L is the fixed length which measured in the meters. Here B is the perpendicular to L, and from the equation 9 and 10, W is equal to Q pi I. Right. W is nothing but external work we are operating on the system in order to make the electrical current within. So change in this pi value into I can be taken. I denotes what? Strength of the current. So product of these two can be taken as the work operated on this complete system, complete circuit. Let us divide both the sides of the equation with delta T. Delta T can be taken on the both sides. W by delta T is equal to I into delta pi by delta T. So this is somewhat extended equation further. So here W by T is nothing but the work done on the system in the certain period of time is equal to I into delta pi by delta T. So this is somewhat extended one. Here electrical power is denoted with P. P denotes what? Power of electrical current, and that is equal to I delta pi by delta T can be taken. We know that electrical power is the product. Electrical power is the product of current and the EMF, which is also denoted as a voltage. Potential difference can be taken. As already we know, epsilon is the variation in the EMF, that is equal to delta pi by delta T. That obviously equals to the induced EMF within the cell. So already we know epsilon is nothing but induced EMF, right? So here change in this pi value by delta T. So this ratio gives the value of epsilon, and by using this one, it is possible to calculate electrical power which generated within the closed circuit in this, right? And electrical power P is equal to epsilon I. Thus, electrical power generated within the circuit is equal to product of induced EMF, that is epsilon, and current, that is the strength of current I in amperes. Thus, mechanical energy utilized to move the cross wire in 1 second is converted into electrical energy here, right? So this is nothing but conservation of energy. As already we know, conservation of energy gives that neither energy be destroyed nor be created, but in turn converted into one form to another. Here also mechanical energy turned into electrical energy, that is called the transformation of energy, right? Dividing the equation. So this equation can be taken and divided with respect to delta T. So W by delta T is equal to Fs by delta T. Already we know force is equal to this flux density B, I strength of the current, L is the fixed length in between the two bar magnets, by delta T can be taken, right? So this is somewhat extended equation. W by delta T is equal to F by delta T is equal to Bi. L by delta T can be taken, right? Here, S by delta T gives the speed of the cross wire. So through this cross wire, how extent this electrical current is flowing, that will denote what? S by delta T, right? So here, this ratio can be taken with another parameter called a V. Then we get electrical power. P is equal to W by delta T. W is the work done on the system. Delta T within the time period, variation of the time. So it is taken as FV is equal to BILV, right? B is the flux density, and the L will be the length in between, and V is nothing but S by delta T can be taken here. Power is also given as a force times velocity. From this equation, we got a finalized one. W by delta T is equal to epsilon I. W by delta T is equal to epsilon I, right? Now, epsilon I already we have this value that is given as BILB, right? So here epsilon is equal to BLB can be taken. Epsilon is equal to BLB can be taken by I get compensated. One is there in the left side and either is there in the right side. Both get compensated as well. So that here variation in the EMF is equal to flux density, length in between two bar magnets, and V is nothing but ratio of A is by delta T. This is called a motional EMF. So whenever current is in the moment, so during that electromotive force is generated, that is called a motional EMF denoted with epsilon. The above equation, not Faraday's law of induction. So here, this is not exactly the Faraday's law. A new kind of parameters got derived here because it is not having any kind of loop system. We are not taking loop system here. Whenever loop system is there, that loop system connected with galvanic cell, external magnet should be in the closer proximity. Then you can experience there is a change in potential difference and the strength of the current as well. It is useful when conductor moves in the uniform magnetic field. So uniform magnetic field was taken, which having the equal strength here. And this conductor was taken, that conductor is having a flexible or constant velocity here. So at this condition, we can apply the equation. What is the equation? E is equal to BLB. E is a motional EMF, B is the flux density, L is the length, and V will be the ratio of A is by delta T. By this, we completed the session. And with this, what is meant by Lenz's law and how the induced current electromagnetism is possible? How can we convert mechanical energy into electrical energy, and in turn used in various applications like electrical generators, which are the sources of instant power generation? And what are the reasons for deviation in the Faraday's law, and how can we derive the subsequent equation? All these topics were discussed in today's session. Hope this will helpful for your preparation. Thank you very much for your consistent listening. Thank you one and all.